Okay, so my book is the Ballad of Huck and Miguel. I believe it is a hero's journey because originally it starts off as status quo. Huck is enjoying his life. He doesn't go to school. He doesn't enjoy school. And he lives out in the woods getting supplied by one of his buddies. His name's Ben. He lives out in the woods though because he's not very fond of his dad. He's a drug addict and alcoholic, just a bad person. I think his call to adventure is really just him exploring. In the beginning of the book, he explores all the time. He sneaks out to the town where he goes dumpster diving. He gets caught. His dad runs into him, and that kind of sparks the whole exploring in his interest in finding new things. And I think that's his call to adventure. We see that later in the book. Assistance is basically his friend Ben in the beginning of the book, but he meets more friends and people that help him throughout the book. He's got great people that just want to help him out. After he gets caught in the city by his dad though, he gets beat pretty bad, and then when he wakes up, they're in their camper on the way to Los Angeles, which his dad said is a new, better life for them, and he said he's going to change and everything, but it never happens.
Yeah.
And people say that, and they never change. But then then Huck faces lots of trials, and as a 9-year-old, it's crazy. First, his last artifact from his mom is a knife that she gave him, and he hides it from his dad, and his dad found out about it and basically took it, locked him in the camper, threw away the dagger, and then left him there. So Huck, he's a really intelligent 9-year-old in the sense of street smart. He's not very book smart. He doesn't go to school or anything, but he finds a way to escape, and he finds the knife too, and just explores. He's a 9-year-old roaming around in LA. He eventually meets his friend Tom Sawyer, and he also likes to explore, so they get exploring, and they run into a drug deal with his dad and 2 other guys. One of the guys ended up being an undercover cop, actually, and he got shot during the drug deal, and no one knew they were there until they came out, grabbed one of the guns, and held the drug dealer hostage. And as a 9-year-old, he could have held his dad there too, but he's still blood related to him, and he still's that's my dad. I can't just shoot my dad or turn my dad in. So he lets his dad run off, but holds the drug dealer hostage. And eventually the cops come and they catch him, and they get a reward. But the cops find out that he's pretty much living on his own, so he gets put into a foster family. And he does well with them for a while. He gets to explore the woods out back of the house, and he meets a friend that works in the horse stables out back. His name is Miguel. And as soon as I heard his name in the book, I knew he was going to be an important piece because his name's in the title. I was like, well, there we go. Later in the house, his dad breaks in and attempts to murder both of his foster parents. Yeah, crazy.
Oh my God.
They both survived in the end of the book, but at the first they thought they were both dead. So he has to fight off his dad as a 9-year-old, and his dad has a knife, so he's fighting him off. And he's screaming for help. No one's there except for Miguel. Miguel comes and helps him out, and they ended up pushing him off a balcony. And they thought, oh, that's the end of him, for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Of course.
Not the end of him, of course.
Bad guys.
Yeah. So he explores. They run away because they call the cops just so they can get help, so they can maybe save the 2 foster parents. But Miguel is an immigrant from Mexico, and he's illegal, so they have to run. So, and Miguel and Huck, being best friends, Huck doesn't want to leave Miguel. Miguel doesn't want to leave Huck. So they leave together.
Yeah.
Essentially, just traveling down canals of LA and trying to escape the cops and everything. They meet a lot of nice people that help them out, actually, but in the end, they make it out. And they run into his dad 2 more times. One time, he made a trap for him because they built the raft. So the dad built a trap so the raft got hung up. And then the dad tried to shoot him and stuff, but they got away. And then again, their dad was waiting for them on a bridge. And they got into a shootout. It was kind of like a runaround thing. They ended up getting caught and cornered. There was basically nothing left they could do. They met back up with Tom Sawyer, and they tried to get his aunt involved, which was a lawyer, and it was all downhill. The dad had already talked to the aunt and held her hostage and told her if they ever came, then she had to lock him in. So pretty much they went for the aunt for help, and they got screwed over.
Oh.
So eventually the dad was like, well, the cops are after me too, because I've been shooting at you guys this whole time, so I want to ride on your guys' raft. And they were like, oh no. So they were trying to get away, and eventually the dad had them in gunpoint the whole way to the raft. And eventually they got away. Huck ended up hitting him with their paddle and knocking him in the water, right in the jaw, and just knocked him out. And he was flopping around in the water, and they pushed the raft down the canal, and they finally got away. The cops caught the dad because he was trying to shoot them, and they made it away almost unharmed. Although Tom Sawyer he got shot in the leg, but he made it out alright. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ended up being pretty cool about it. He was like, dude, check out this cool scar at school. So, but yeah, and at the end of the book was pretty sad. Miguel gave up his, life in America and meeting up with his kids and his wife, and he surrendered himself so that Huck and Tom Sawyer could have the best life they could have. So if they would have stayed on the raft, they could have been refugees and hid from the cops for the rest of their lives. But Miguel gave himself up so that they could live their best lives and explore and do the things that they loved. And then the foster parents were still alive, so he moved back in with them, and him and Tom Sawyer have just been friends ever since.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty much.
That sounds like a really intense book.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I view Huck and Miguel both are heroes in ways that the hero's journey work. Like Miguel has his own hero's journey, and so does Huck, and they intertwine well that they can work together, and they're like 2 heroes working together, and it's unbeatable. No.
Yeah. Can't stop them.
Any questions?
And you said how old were the kids then? Like the characters?
Yeah, so Miguel was fully grown. Huck was around 9 years old, I believe, and Tom Sawyer, I don't think we got a specific age, but definitely similar ages.
Kid.
Young kid as
That's crazy.
Huck.
And so it didn't say anything. He didn't have any other parental roles in his life aside from his dad?
No, his dad and then his mother, he talked about early on in the book. We didn't really know what happened. All we knew was she was dead. And in the end of the book, Huck gets his father to admit that he actually killed his mother. So that's the reason I think his dad hated everything about his mother, and they got into some argument, and he ended up killing her. And then Huck only had that last thing.
The dagger.
The dagger was the last thing he had left.
Okay.
But yeah, really, just on his own for most of his life. Finally back to.
Definitely a hero.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
A 9-year-old taking on an adult.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I can see why you liked it.
Yeah. Sweet.